All right, here's where we are so far with the Sci-Fi MedKit. I need to tell you that since I was a teacher for 25 years, I've been sort of commissioned to do some curriculum writing. And so I'm going to be a little bit busy in the next little while, and I won't be able to do Blender as much. And so I may have to sort of rush through a little bit of. I want to put on some decals and show you some glowing buttons and stuff to sort of finish this off. And so it may be a little bit incomplete, and there may be some things that I don't get to. I'll try to get to them in the future. So for now, I'll probably have to leave this series at this. This is where we are with the model so far, and there's a couple of things I want to do to this. The last time we did the hinges, without the cavity shader, it's looking pretty flat. And I'm just going to come over to the main body and the bevel. I'm going to switch over to angle and just watch here, and we'll get a little bit more of a bevel. And I'll try the same on the bottom. Won't make that much of a difference. We get a little bit more. That cavity shader, so nice. The other thing that I want to try is in edge selection. I want to select all of this upper part, and we're going to see if we can just do a bevel like this and put a few segments in there and see if we can get a little bit more rounding so that it'll catch some more light. So I wanted to do that, and I think that's about it. And so let's get into some materials. So far so good. Okie dokie. Okay, so quick material for this thing. Let's go over the shading, and let's collapse this down. And we're going to create material. What did I do? All right. On materials, I'm going to click new. And I'm going to just create this white shiny material with a little bit of a noise texture. Okay, so I need my material. I need a couple of mix shaders, diffuse, glossy, and glossy. So let's just go for it. And let's go Control Plus to maximize that. And let's change this to a mix shader. So I'm going to need a couple of those. I know I'm going to need a glossy. It's going to go in there. I know I need a couple of layer weights. Input layer weight. I think I need a couple of those. Let's go back to this. So the glossy is going to come in there, and the mix is going to go there, and another glossy. Let's take another one. Okay, and this is, I believe it's Fresnel going in there. Fresnel going in here. Let's double check that. Fresnel and Fresnel. Okay, let's get some of these values in here. So Beckman, I'm using 0.01. All of this can be adjusted. That might be a little bit too smooth, but for that glossy, I'm going to change this to 0.3. So this one's 0.5. This one's 0.3. Okay, let's just take that and bring it up. Okay, so now we're going to get our diffuse. There's are going to be our white color, or whatever color, green, whatever color you want your med kit to be. And then we're going to have bump noise and stuff like that. So let's do that. Let's take this and change this to a diffuse. I'm going to bring that in here. And I know I'm going to need then various other things. I'll make this vector bump right now, and I'll make this noise. And on the noise, I'm going to do that. I'm going to go from object. Okay, so where are we at? Noise bump, and that's going to be it. Okay, so the color is going to go to the height there. I don't know if I needed a color ramp. Didn't seem to. We don't want too much strength, so like 0.02. I'll try 0.02. That might be what I used anyhow. 0.05, whatever. This is color's white. Let's try, maybe I want it a little bit more. All right, well, let's go ahead and start looking at this. One thing I want to do is I want to be in cycles and GPU compute. That might have been something. Yeah, I've got to make sure that my lights are on. Yeah, I mean, I have good placement of the lights, but I may not be able to see much yet. Anyways, my noise, I've got to adjust that. Here I used 30 and 2. So I'll go ahead and I'll use that, and we'll just see where we're at. So you can see a little bit of it there. Okay, bumpy, kind of. And then you could decide, like, so if I go 0.2, see what it does there? I'll leave it at that to exaggerate it for the moment. And I just want to come in here, and I want to select all these squares here. And I'm going to put an emission material, sort of to release a little bit of light from here. There we go. And in my materials, I'm going to create new, and I'm going to call this, let's say, emission body. We'll try 5, and we'll give it like a greenish color, and sign. So it's emitting a bit of light there. So have those glow. Okay, back to the med kit. Okay, it's time for us to get a decal on here. Okay, so we'll look from the top. I'm going to put a decal on there. I was going to say first stage, so I'm going to come in here. Let's have a look at this. This is our piece. It's a weird shape and gone thingy. All right, that's fine. I don't even really need this, but I'm going to use this as a guide. I think I'm going to use it as a guide. And what I'm going to do is I'm going to unwrap this. All right, so I'm just looking straight down on it. I've got it selected. I'm going to press U, and I'm going to say project from view bounds. Now, let's go over UV editing. All right, I'll zoom in on this side. I'll look down. Doesn't matter. This is what I got. All right, it's all weird, but it doesn't matter. I'm going to take this, and I'm going to say export UV layout, and I'm going to put this in a folder that I've created called Export Sci-Fi MedKit Video, just whatever. And I'm going to call this top UV. And I'm going to export it. It's 1024 by 1024. It doesn't even matter. The point is that I'm going to draw some graphics that say first aid, and I'm going to draw a cross. And I want to get the relative proportions. I'm going to bring that in as a decal. So I don't need this UV unwrapped. I'm just using this as a reference. Okay. Now, over your graphics program, whatever you're going to use, whether it's Photoshop or GIMP or whatever, I happen to use Flash. All right. You can draw on anything you want. So I've just got a file open. It doesn't even really matter how big it is. It's 1024 by 1024 right now. I'm going to import that graphic. So there it is. Okay, it should go right in the middle. Okay, at 1024 by 1024. I'll make it a bit smaller so you can see the whole thing. So there it is. I'm going to lock that layer, come to another layer. The point is I just want to use this as a reference so I roughly know how big I would want my text. And I'm going to rescale all of this kind of stuff. choose my text tool. I'm going to go for red, and I'm going to type first aid, and I'm going to center this. I don't really have any great fonts, but so I'm going to do this. Now, I'm actually going to end up making this probably smaller, so don't worry about it. Okay, and then I'm going to try to draw a cross. And what am I going to do here? Well, I'm going to take the rectangle, and I'm going to go like this on a nice big thick cross. Like that. And, actually, let me make sure that's right in the center. Yeah. Edit, copy, what am I doing? Paste in place, modify, transform, and rotate it. That's my cross. So this is what I want to have. Okay, so that's the approximate size. Like I say, I may scale it all. I'm actually going to get rid of the UV, and I'm going to take all of this, and I'm going to move it up to here, somewhere in the corner. And the reason I have to do that is because when you resize stuff, it does it from the top corner there. So I'm just going to get roughly a size that fits my text. I can just experiment with this step there. And I'll make this like 450. We'll try that. Not quite. 500. Almost. I could probably take this, and I keep thinking I can do it that way. Okay, so now I'm just going to center this bit. And if I do that, yeah, perfect. Okay, so I'm going to file, export image. I'm going to save this in that place, and I'm going to call this top text. No, I'm not going to call it top text. I'm going to more top text. I'm going to call it first aid text. I just capitalize that. PNG. I'm just going to export it at whatever size. Beautiful. Okay. All right, back to shading. Here we go. Okay. Actually, I could probably be in modeling for this. Now, I'm going to import this text as a plane, and that's an add-on that you would find in preferences. Image, import images as planes. So search for that, make sure that's checked, and then you can come to File, Import, and then it'll be down here, Images as Planes. You click that, and then it will take you to where you want to go. First aid text. I'm going to choose that, and let's lift it up. That'll of course come in at the 3D cursor, and you can see I've got it on a black background. And that's okay, because what it does is it creates a material. See, it says first aid text, which is what I called it over there. And if I go over to shading, you'll see that it creates a little node tree here for you. All right. And it will make the background transparent as long as you've got that alpha channel in there. So it's already done it for me. First aid text, diffuse, transparent, my mix shader, etc. Okay. So I'm going to go over to modeling, and I am going to scale this so that it fits. I mean, it's close, but it's not, it's not quite. So it just acts like a plane. I'm going to bring it close to the surface, as close as I can get it. Like that. That's fine. And just look down on it and say, okay, do I like that? Maybe a little bit smaller. You figure out the rough position that you would want it. Save. And then I'm going to take this, and I'm going to, in the modifiers, apply Shrinkwrap Modifier, and as my target, I'm going to use the dropper, and I'm going to choose the top. It's really flush with the top right now, so I'm going to set the offset to 0.001. Try that. Okay. Now, if I come over here and turn on my camera, if I click here, you'll see that it's transparent. Okay. So yeah, I've got it there. I can move this and it will try to follow the contours, but I don't care about that. I'm just going to put it, I might put it right there because I might put some text below there. All right, so let's come back here. That was pretty crazy right now. Let's just put that 10 there. And let's have another look at this. All right, so I brought that in as a decal. I could just go back and make it say whatever I want it to. There we go. So now I'm going to, I don't need the cross, but I'm going to put a different symbol. So I'm going to change this to say something like, what? Open here. No. Push to open. You'll see what I'm going to do here. What if I make that 70? And I'm going to change this. Jeez, I keep using the blender movement. I'm going to make a square. I'm going to create an arrow. Whatever, you can use whatever you want to do this. This is the way I do it. Snap, grab it, and rotate it. Like that. Center that. Okay, so if I do that, I can make this like that. It's good enough. Just to show you. I don't know if I like that. Okay, anyways. I'm going to call this, save as, I'll call this push text. And now I'm going to export it. Okay, it's whatever size. All right, so come over here, file, import, images as plain, push text. It'll create it there. Scale it down. This little piece here, you would push there or pull up or something. I don't know. I'm going to say push. Scale this down nicely too, so I'm going to have that. I want that there. It's pretty central. Okay, it's already created the material for me. Push text. I'm just going to give it the modifier. Shrinkwrap. My target is the top here, and my offset 0.001. I don't need to apply these things. Let's have a look at that, but with the camera on. Another thing that I can do is I can actually come in here and I can put in an edge loop like this, and then I can grab that face and delete it. You know, I can do that kind of thing. So you get the idea that you could put various graphics all over this thing. All right, so I won't waste your time with too much of that. All right. Yeah, cool. All right, so let's move on. I want to make this region in here. The way I did this, I built it in, and really, it would be nice to have these as plates or other pieces that would fit in. I'm not going to do that. I just want to create this area here with a different shade or different color. So I have to go through and select all these crazy pieces. Actually, I'm going to do it this way. I'm going to select that and Control Plus to get out, so I get all these little guys. And this, I'm just holding down Shift and trying to get everything. All right, and I'm going to come over to the materials, and I've got this white. All right, it's sort of a shiny white. I'm going to hit this thing right here, new material, and it's white 1, and I'm going to call this black, and assign. And now I need to make sure that this part is white. If I go in here, I'm going to hit the plus actually. This part is going to be black and assign. Okay. And now I'm going to go into the shading, and I'm going to change the color here to like black. And now it's still going to have all that bump on it. You just have to decide if you like it. Honestly, I wish there were more pieces in here and it wasn't just, you know, sort of flush with the material, but it's fine. It's the way we did this, okay? We're not trying to get too complicated. So we've got that. All right, so just look at that. Okay, it's very shiny right now. You can decide if you don't like it that shiny. All right, you can adjust the glossy here. I might want to actually do that. I think I'm going to do this 0.2. 0.2. Let's see if that's, you know, I want this more of a matte black here. And we could also try even this. Okay, I want it a little bit reflective because we're going to make some buttons that glow. Okay, cool. Now, I also want this camera part to be black. There we go. And I want this to be black. And I got to come in here. There's a little bit of a ring there. Let's do this. Let's hide this. Come into the main body here. Zoom in there. And then we'll just, I think, can I just do it this way? Not get anything else. Let's make that black as well. Bring everything else back. Okay, we'll do something with this in a bit. Now, let's do something cool with these buttons. So there's the buttons. Now, there's an array on these, and I think I'm going to go ahead and apply that array. And now I'm going to take one of these, Control L, and I'm going to P, break it out. So I got two different buttons. That button and this button, and I'll set the object. And I think all I'm going to do for this is give it a bit of a kind of a color. Now, I could actually do one and copy it, perhaps, but it doesn't really matter. So here's what I'm going to do. I'm going to take this, and I'm going to give this a material, new material, and I'm going to choose translucent. Where's translucent? Translucent there. And I'm going to give this a green color. And I'm going to call this big button 1 out for outside. Okay. And then I'm going to take it and make sure I set the origin to geometry nice and center. I'm going to Shift D, and I'm going to S to scale. I should be able to sort of see inside. And I'm just going to scale it in. Now you can position it and all that if you want. I'm not going to worry about that. I've got another copy of it there. I'm going to click here, and I'm going to call this big butt 1 in. And I'm going to change this to emission, and I want this to be white, and the strength we'll try 3. I don't know. Okay. Look at this. That's when I'm getting this kind of effect. Let's try that again over here. New. Big button. 2 out. Come on, translucent. Let's go for red. Now, I'm going to copy it. I'm going to scale it. You can do this numerically. You can do it to the same size, all that kind of stuff. It's probably good practice, but, you know, make a copy of it this way. I'm going to call this big button to in. I'm going to change this to emission. And relatively white. And I think I used 3, I can't remember. Let's save. Let's have a look here. Okay, you can make them as much glowing as much as you want. Okay, instead of putting text on these, I just don't necessarily have the time. You could still also put, you know, start and cancel or whatever you want. Stop and go. Now, yeah, that's not, I don't need to do that. All right. So let's just have a look maybe from here and see what we got going on here. Wow, let's go remodeling. Okay. Very nice. We're gonna do more of the same. Thinking of doing something similar to this guy here, and I was thinking of what we need is we need a cover, the outside, and we need the inside, and this piece here could be the inside. So what I'm going to try is I'm going to select these inner faces. And then I'm going to expand my selection. No, I think I want to go out to there. And this part, I've got it as black right now. I need to make another material because it's part of this object. So I'm going to hit the plus. I'm going to say new material. I'm going to call this lens. I probably got another material now. In, all right, and this part I'm going to make an emission white and go for 5. Let's just try a different one, and I'm going to hit assign. Okay, so we get that. Okay, so if you just looked at it, it would just be like that. So I don't have my camera and lights turned on, so that's a cool effect there. You get a better sense of these buttons. And what I was thinking of doing though was I can select that because I've got a material on it. I can select that, and I'm going to can I constrain it down 1, Shift D, and I'm going to switch over to normal. So I come out. Yeah, that's what I wanted. I want a piece like that. I'm going to break this out. Break it out so I have a separate thing. So there it is. I'm going to come into it, and I'm going to, in edge selection, select, and I'm going to extrude down and scale it out. I'm making like a lens cap, sort of. Now, this has a subdivision surface on it. That's fine. Let's leave it like that for now. For materials, though, let's make a copy and call this lens out. I hope I'm being consistent with my whatever. And remember, we're changing this to translucent, and I'm going to go with like a bluish color. See what that looks like. All right. Maybe we need this to be a bit darker. And then again, you can experiment with the positioning of these things. Let's see. try pulling it out and seeing if that does anything for us. All right. Yeah, so anyways, you get the idea though. Now, the screen, I think what I'm gonna do for this part, I think I'm gonna Shift D, pull it out, P to break it out, set the origin geometry, just find that thingy. I think I will try to scale this like this. Now, what about extruding it back a little bit? I don't know how well this is going to work. This one I want. I'm going to try the lens out surface. You have to push that in. Let's hide that for the moment. And here, I'm gonna because I've got this is part of the main model. I've got white material and black material, and I want to put another material on this face, which is part of the main model. So I've got to click the plus. And do I just have an emission for the body? What do I want? I'm gonna try big button to in. I just wanted emission material. Although if I change it here, it's going to change that there. And I'm going to hit assign. So I'm going to get this. Let's just have a look at that. Okay, so it's glowing there. Let's see if I bring this back. Let's just see how that looks. I like the black on the outside. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to come into this and I'm going to just see what it's like if I push it down in a bit more. I didn't push it much, but let's see. Let's flip this around for the camera and just go from the angle like that. Turn that stuff on and let's have a look at that. Okay, I would want to adjust that blue. So this is lens out. I don't want to make any changes unless I make a copy of this and call this screen out. And I can do whatever the heck I want. What does that do? Is that something we'd like? Maybe. So that's the general idea anyhow of what I wanted to show you. Oh, it's got, I don't know if my screencast keys have been on anyhow. These, I'm thinking of just putting the black on for now and leaving them. As you know, you can do the same kind of thing as this. Again, you know, you could put other decals and stuff. What I think I might do, well, let's just have another look at this. This. And I'm just going to do something like that. All right, just to save us some time. You can mess around with your own lighting, obviously. I'll render this, I'll show it to you, and we're just going to leave it at that. All right, here's a couple of renders. I haven't spent a lot of time setting up the lighting or anything and tweaking the materials or any post-processing, but just to show you what it looks like, just sort of straight out of the box. All right, so here we go. My glowing buttons and screen, my decals on there. There's another view. These buttons may not be perfectly flat against the back. Yeah, it would look nice with a lot of scratches and stuff like that. That's for another time. If you want to see me put text on these buttons, all right, and change the color a little bit, leave me a comment, and I will get to that as soon as I can. Like I said, I've got to start working on some teaching curriculum, so I may be out of Blender for a few days, but we'll get back to this very soon. This was a really fun project. I hope you enjoyed this, and thank you very much for watching. Please like the video, subscribe, and leave me a comment, and we'll see you again soon.